This is a shin box flow. You're going to be in shin box position, meaning you should see a tripod below when you look down at your feet. So I have the arch of my foot basically in the knee of my opposite leg. Start with your right side in front first, left side in back, because I'm going to cue you on taking steps left or right, okay? So nice and tall in your spine. What I want you to do is shift over towards your right, place your hands on the outside of your right leg here, push through the floor, look over your right shoulder, seeing if you can see your foot behind you, thinking about driving your shins into the floor, driving your hands into the floor to get nice and tall in your spine. Now taking your hands behind your back, use this as an opportunity to open up your chest, really push the floor away. I'm going to lift my knees without moving my feet as much as possible to shift into the opposite side. So now my left leg is forward. Get nice and tall in your spine. Take your hands on the outside of your left leg. Look over your left shoulder, seeing if you can see your foot behind you. Really focusing on pushing through the floor, getting long in your spine, driving your shins into the floor. Here's your exhale breath too. So you're wringing yourself out like a rag, trying to exhale to release any tension. Then take an inhale breath here, hands behind your back, push through the floor. So you don't want to dump down into your shoulders. You're really actively pressing the floor away. Knees up without moving your feet as much as you can. So again, get tall in your spine. You'll take your hands on the outside edge of your right leg here. Look over your back shoulder, seeing if you can see your foot behind you. Squeeze that back glute, driving your shins down, hands down into the floor, spine nice and tall. One more time in our transition. Hands push into the floor, so get tall in your spine, switching your knees without moving your feet as much as you can. Tall in your spine before you rotate, so you want to create space in your spine before you rotate. Here's your exhale breath. Inhaling in your transition. Okay, so now we're back to our original right side shin box forward, right leg forward. I'm going to drive through the floor to come up into kneeling shin box. Squeeze your left glute, then pulling yourself down to keep your spine nice and tall. Switching to the opposite side. Exhale as you drive through the floor, squeezing your back glute, driving your shins into the floor here. As soon as your exhale breath ends, you're pulling yourself down, land on a cloud. Switching one more time here, spine nice and tall. Exhale. So if you see, I'm trying to create this tripod position on the floor. I'm driving the tops of my feet into the floor, squeezing my left glute. Inhale as you pull yourself down, spine nice and tall, switching sides, drive through the floor, pressing the tops of your feet if you can into the floor, squeezing your right glute. Okay, we're gonna go one more step forward. So here, back in my shin box, my right side is forward, drive up into your kneeling shin box. Now take your left leg, step forward. Your right foot will align with your right knee, shifting as far forward as you can. So you're in a nice diagonal line from the crown of your head to your knee on the floor. Then come back into half kneeling. Circle your foot back around. Find yourself in your shin box. Let me switch so you can see. So I'm back into my kneeling shin box. Pull yourself down onto the floor. Switching sides. Kneeling shin box. Stepping forward, so now I'm creating the nice deep lunge here, squeezing your back glute, back into half kneeling, circle your foot back around into your shin box, pulling yourself down, and you'll just go back and forth, okay? So here I am. Now I'm going to shift as far forward into my lunge as I can. If you can add another layer, you'll come back down into your shin box here. I'm sorry, your shin rocker position. So if you know that video of mine, that's shin rocker 2. Come back up into half kneeling, circle your foot around, find yourself in kneeling shin box, pulling yourself down, switching sides. I'm traveling around a little bit because I have the space to, but you might not have that space at home, and that's okay. You can just position yourself as you need. So here I'm in a nice deep lunge. I'm going to shift my hip to my heel as far back as I can, keeping my spine nice and tall. You don't have to add this if you can't, or if it's not in your wheelhouse, don't worry about it. Back into half kneeling. Circle your foot back around. So I'll show you how it would work if you don't have a lot of space. So here's my half kneeling position. Then I come back into my tall seated position. Then I'll circle my foot around. If you can't go anywhere, you can kind of just put your hands behind you and switch your feet and your knees to fill up the space that you have. You can take as much space as you have, but if you don't have a lot of space, you can also make this a small, you can give yourself a smaller footprint just by adjusting your body.